Get ready for some awesome cleaning motivation as I deep clean my living room, and also some home project motivation as my husband continues working on trim work for our upstairs bathroom. Before I can start cleaning, I really need to help him get set up in the basement. So here we go. And all of those need to be painted?
No, just two.
That's...
Unless you want to.
Well, it's had the crap dug out of it.
Oh.
Was this one painted? Yeah, this one's kind of...
I can bring any one of them over here.
Yeah.
Let me check on it while I'm cooking.
This basement has definitely been neglected, so I had some areas I wanted to sweep up. Out here is where I have my kids' stuff, the Christmas stuff, and things that when my grandkids come or overnight guests come, all the mattresses and such. I just had this little spot to sweep up, and then where my husband had been sawing in the other area of the basement, I definitely had a big old pile of sawdust that I had never taken up. Thank goodness the cats never decided to use this as a cat box. Their cat boxes are on the other side. So I consider that a blessing. And I'm just getting that cleaned up. It just feels like before other messes happen, I'd like to get these messes cleaned. And I had mentioned in another video that when I came down to the basement, I got super overwhelmed, and it was right now, right here. And I decided we have just got to go a very, very deep level in decluttering. I had just decided that even some of the things I like and I think, oh, I might use this or it would be fun to use this. Do I need to use this? Is the question I started asking myself. Is it worth having it, or do I want to get rid of it and just have the load of owning it off my shoulders, and even have my storage area be something that kind of rises up to greet me when I come down and is a peaceful place instead of a chaotic place? This was all stuff that was being donated that never went out to the car, so I'm going to take it out now. Oh. Here's the compressor and the Beanie Babies. They're going to. Oh yeah, the hardest part of decluttering is getting it out of the house, honestly. I got that stuff put in my car so that it would be ready the next time I was in town and able to donate. And now I'm getting started on the living room deep clean. One of the reasons I am just so excited about doing this deep clean is because this is the area where we relax at the end of a day. And so having the windows nice and clean so that when you look outside, I'm decluttering that blanket, by the way, so that when you look outside, you're looking through a clean window. You don't even realize as it's getting dirty through the winter that your view isn't as clean and clear as it could be. But then once you get it clean and clear, then you realize. And I'm going through my throw blankets here, and I decided to declutter two of them. I have 3 gray ones. And we opted to keep this one, which is very fluffy and soft. And then there's another one, the one that you can see is blue, is also fluffy and soft. And they both, I believe, came from Walmart. One of our viewers here, a dear friend of mine, Edie, gave those to us for Christmas. And my family loves them. They're nice and thick. They're extremely durable. And they're very soft. And then I have this cream colored one that is also super duper soft. So those are the 3 that I'm keeping. I use them also when we have company if they need an extra blanket. So they're very useful to me. I just didn't feel like I needed 5 of them. Plus, I kind of wanted to get a pastel colored one. And in another video soon, you'll see the one I ordered for my upstairs bedroom. and you'll see how that worked out. But I'll be getting one for the upstairs bedroom as well. And then we have these thermal curtains that we just kind of tuck in. They're on a thermal rod. A thermal rod? No, they're thermal curtains on a tension rod, and we just put those up there at night. Now, I must apologize. I'm using my phone because my husband is filming with my camera, and I do not know what was happening. I have a good phone. It's like a 14 Pro Max or something like that. It's usually very good for video, but it did not do a good job on this day. So I hope you're able to get motivation out of this video throughout the graininess and the quality of the video. So I do apologize for that. I'm getting the windows cleaned, as I said, and for those of you who are familiar with my channel, I'm going to make very sure I do not drop a window on my face, because I still have one spot that if I push on it on my nose is still a little bit sore from when I dropped that window on my face when I was doing the ones in my bedroom. In a perfect world, Fantasy Karen would have just every day gone room by room and gotten all of her spring cleaning done. It's been a big gap between when I did my bedroom and now that I am doing this living room. But at the end of the day, I'm just thankful that I'm doing it now, and we're just going to keep plugging it away at it. And if it takes too long, I'll stop calling it spring cleaning and I'll call it summer cleaning, right? So it's just kind of one of those things you realize as you get older, you have all these expectations for yourself, and you get to a place in life where you say, you know what? The next time I have time, I'm just going to pick up where I left off and keep on trucking. And so I hope that's something that you can do, is to give yourself grace. If you're sitting on the couch sipping tea, if you're sitting in bed and you're using this video to help you relax, to go to sleep, I think that is wonderful. If you're using it to get motivated, I think that's wonderful. If you have it up on your TV and you're working alongside me, I think that's wonderful. Wherever you are in life, it's okay. And what I really hope is that you give yourself grace, you just do what you can do, and then when you have time again, you do what you can do again, right? The house is here to serve us. We are not here to serve our homes. But when we keep plugging away, what we're doing is we're slowly building a sanctuary, a home that we love to fuel the life we love. Our home isn't our life, but it does fuel our lives. It's where we rest. It's where we connect. And it is where we do all of the major things of life, eating and sleeping and loving and visiting. And, there's so many purposes that our homes have. It's where our hobbies take place. It's just so important not to let your home take over, not to work so hard in your home that you have no energy for anything else, unless that is your hobby. That might be a little bit different, but I'm assuming there are other things in your life besides cleaning. And it's okay if you just can't get it all done. If you can't get spring cleaning done in the spring, it's really okay, because summer cleaning comes right behind it. Fall cleaning comes right behind that. And before you know it, we're holiday cleaning. So you just do your best and give yourself grace. Now this window, as well as the window I'm going to do next. Oh, also I have doubles. This is on double speed. So you see how slow I'm going. I'm taking it slow. This window, as I was about to say, and the one I'm going to do next, are full of kitty nose prints and a few kitty sneezes, which is really disgusting. But it's also the window we like to look at birds out of. I am also using a foaming window spray. I took a short stint using a window cleaner that came from the Dollar Tree, and it was not foaming. And after a bit of time, I thought, you know what? I've got to go back to what I know I love and use my foaming spray. You will see later that I do turn a video on the TV to help keep me motivated. But in general, I am just enjoying the quiet, enjoying the movement of what I'm doing, thinking my own thoughts. I just realized why I got the graininess on this video. Okay, and I just have to share it with you, my friends, because you are my friends. Is my camera, my phone, keeps flipping from regular speed to slow motion. I thought I put it on slow motion. I know I didn't think I put it on slow motion, but as I was editing, I'm like, you know what? I think I put this on slow motion. But then I have spots that aren't slow motion, so it's doing it on its own, and I don't know why. my phone is freaking out. This is the thing. We love Apple products, and I love Apple products. I have a MacBook Pro, but they're not the longest lasting things on the planet, are they? Oh my goodness. Hopefully that my phone is not going to go crazy. See, right there, it went really fast and then it went slow. And so I'm trying to adjust speed so that this video seems a little bit normal, but I'm glad that we can at least hang out together while I am cleaning the living room. But if you think you're going crazy, I just want you to know you're not. It's my video. And I thought I was going crazy, and I'm not. It's my phone. Oh, goodness gracious. So yeah, we won't do that again. From now on, we're just going to have to take turns with my camera because obviously using my phone is definitely not an option. One of the reasons I like to use my phone too is because it does better with lighting if I have the window and the light coming in from the window. But it's not good if it's going to flip back and forth between regular speed and slow motion. Leo is just so happy to have a clean window to look out. Look at him. He's just like, oh, I can put my kitty nose prints on here. I can do it again. I am pretty strict about this living room because it is the place that I like to relax. So I don't want a lot of clutter in here. And I'm very picky about, we've never had a shelf that had DVDs on it. I do have it took me a long time to do this. I do have a bookshelf that is a turnstile for my husband for the books that he is reading all the time. So that is the one thing I have done. But other than that, I really don't allow possessions in here. When my kids were young, I did have a basket full of toys for them, and you could just like throw everything in the basket and then it looked clean. It was stuff that they were playing with every day. But I definitely do not have, a lot of things stored in here. And it is so that I can have clear spaces, because if I don't have clear spaces, I can't relax. What that means is, at the most, I'll have dishes that somebody left behind in here, like if they were drinking a drink of water or whatever, and they left their cup on the little end table. I'll have blankets that need to be folded. That's it. So everything else is just a quick wipe down and a vacuum, and that is the way I like it. So if I have a lot in this room, it's just going to stress me out. I don't have storage in here. I purposely got those end tables because they didn't have drawers. I didn't want drawers because that's something else to clean out. So the only drawers that we have are in the TV stand there. So the girls have a Xbox in there and the controllers, and then the controllers for the TV, and our cable box is in there. Not the cable box, but you know what I mean, the internet, whatever that's called, the box in there that our internet plugs into. And that's really it. So it makes this room so super easy to clean. That's one of the reasons I have the organizing style that I have, where I am a ladybug. If you've ever done that test, I like to have things that are hidden. It also makes it super easy to clean a room when all you have to do is wipe it down and vacuum it. I do have that little bit of decor that you can see in between my drink and the window cleaner. And then I do have one shelf beside a portrait that is on the wall behind the couch. I also have a duster. So if you like to have the tchotchkes, I think that's great. But it's nice to have a duster that you can just kind of go over it a little bit with a feather duster, and you don't have to move everything every time you want to clean it. Look at that rain coming down. You can still see the chair I had the other day when I was sitting in the sun, and I can't wait to be able to go sit in the sun again. Just several days. We're having a rainy April. I'm trying to just have the best attitude about it. It's not just rainy, it's mixed precipitation for sure. Winter is hanging on for all it's worth. But I keep reminding myself, if we don't get precipitation now, we'll have a June that rains out. So I'm buying a very nice June by just focusing on getting my indoor projects done. And if there's ever a nice day, which we're expecting a nice day, the day this will actually go up, which is Monday, sunny and 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm super excited about that. I'm going to see if I can get outside. If not for a walk, then a walk. And wouldn't it be great if I got a little bit more raking done? I do love so much to get out there and do some raking and just feel the sun and hear the birds. Whenever I have a video that includes the windows and I'm popping out the windows, a lot of you say you don't have pop out windows. I didn't used to. And to make matters worse, I had the crisscross wooden frame. So it was like 6 individual panels on the top, or was it 9 individual panels on the bottom, very colonial style, so hard to clean, double hung. If I were to do that over again, I think I would just remove the screens so that I could clean them from the outside with those kind of power washers that have the glass cleaner in them. But even that's hard. We don't have a proper overhang on our house, so it gets beaten whenever we get rain, and it gets a lot of dirt in there, and we get little spiders in there. So for us, it's been great to have the double hung. And if you can get your arm up there when you open your window, you can clean the outside side of the window. But if not, I feel like if I were to do it again, I might have to remove some of the screens or something so that I could get it from the outside. Because even though I could get it from the outside, I couldn't get the top windows, and the windows always kind of look like a haunted mansion. This is my cat Woozy that you see here laying down on the bed. And look at him. He is not disturbed at all. He doesn't care what I do. I can run the vacuum right up to his face and he really doesn't care. He's just so confident that he's the king. He's on his throne and the whole world needs to move around him and move at his pace. So Leo, the minute I start a vacuum, he is just out of there. He's so not trusting, but Woozy doesn't really care. I do not clean those areas like under the cat tower nearly enough, and they get the cat hair and all the things from cats. And I know some of you it would be your worst nightmare to have this cat tower here. It's amazing when you have something in a room long enough, you kind of get blind to it. And Leo loves to be perched like a goat on the very tippy top, and Woozy is able to get himself on the quote first floor. So I'm checking in on my husband, seeing how he is doing. He's getting all of his paint stuff together. He is getting the painting done on the trim, specifically the trim around his door, the door of the bathroom. I told him, I'm like, just focus on that. Don't try to do everything, but think what is going up next. Let's get that painted. Because a lot of times, because we weren't able to get the trim put up on this day, and I just feel like if you paint something and you leave it in the basement, over time it's going to get damaged if you don't get to it as quickly as you think you will, and then you're putting another coat of paint on it. It just seems like a waste of time. So I told him, I said, just try to get whatever you're going to put up next painted, and we'll go from there. This is not how we plan to do this bathroom, but life just gets in the way sometimes. So if you have a DIY project that has just lasted, as my kids would say, 5 ever, you are not alone. We completely understand, but we are doing it to the speed of Robin and Karen. And sometimes in life, there's just nothing you can do about it. And if you beat yourself up, it just makes it so much worse. I always tell my kids, the person who gets what they want is the person who doesn't leave till they get what they come for. And that could be a college degree, that could be a job, that could be fixing up your bathroom. You just have to keep at it and not give up. I used to always tell a story, and I haven't done it in a while, about my Aunt Betty. Aunt Betty was a very determined woman with very little energy. As she aged, she was an artist. She had a great eye. She could make things so beautiful, whether it was a home, she sold crafts, she made dolls. She just did such beautiful things. Well, she got this apartment that she always dreamed of. She wanted to go back to her hometown in Massachusetts. She finally got to do that. She wanted to decorate her apartment. So if she could only paint for 20 minutes a day, that is exactly what she would do. She would get the paint out, she would do her 20 minutes, she would put everything away, and she would get at it the next day. It could take her 6 months to paint a room. She did not care. She was just going to do it a little bit at a time until it was done. And she inspires me. I think about her a lot when I'm doing these things and just saying, Karen, just do what you can today. Tomorrow's a new day, and you'll get going on it again. And as you see, I've now put a video on the screen because I was kind of fizzling out and I really did not want to be done. So it's take a break, put a video on, get yourself some inspiration, and keep on going. But like my Aunt Betty, if it takes you a week or 2 weeks or a month to, quote, spring clean your living room, call it a deep clean, and just do it as you can, and eventually it will get done. And I've kind of settled myself into that. Rather than having a week where I do all the spring cleaning, I'm just pecking away at deep cleaning, knowing that pretty soon I'm going to want to hit the outside. It is actually still spring, so I'm not as late as I feel like I am. I feel like sometimes when you're a content creator and you're putting up videos, you feel like you have to have everything done before the season actually hits. And this is actually my real life. This isn't like curated. This isn't a movie set. This is our home. And I'm just doing what I can do, and I'm taking you along with me, and we can keep each other company and keep each other motivated. And as soon as I'm done deep cleaning whatever the last room is that I deep cleaned, the truth is the first room is going to need to be done again. You'll notice in my videos me using my all-purpose cleaner but taking the cap off and just kind of dumping it. I've been very stubbornly trying to work through my cleaners and not buy any more, and I want to go cheaper than Mrs. Meyer's. In fact, in my kitchen, I've really been using dish soap on a sponge and then rinsing it off. And it's funny, I have always complained. I have it's called solid surface countertops. It's technically plastic, made to kind of look like a faux quartz or something like that. And I have always complained that it's hard to get the film off it, that even after I clean it, I can kind of feel it with my fingers. Well, wouldn't you know, now that I've gone to just a sponge and dish soap and then rinsing it with a wet sponge, I don't have that film anymore. It was actually being left behind by my cleaners. So it's funny that sometimes the old-fashioned way just works so much better, and it's less expensive too. Now I am getting to my couch cushions. Normally what I would do is I would take the handheld part of my vacuum and do the vacuum. On this day, I decided to just take this broom and sweep it onto the floor and then vacuum it. And you know what? It was so much easier on my body. It was so much easier on my back. And at some point here, you're going to see me sit down and do it. And it was much more relaxing. So take a broom to that couch. Just, let it go right to the floor. You're going to vacuum anyway, and then vacuum it all up. It was so much easier. Something else I'm going to do that every time I show myself cleaning my couch, somebody is going to say, "Why do you keep those tags there?" Such a great question. You see, Leo has to inspect the job too. So I went to get scissors, and I'm finally cutting off those tags. Leo's going to stick with me. I love it when I watch a video and I see someone's dog or cat kind of following them around and sitting on a surface nearby. I think it is so darn cute, and it is always nice to have the company. Somebody who sits with me but doesn't critique me, just kind of keeps me company. And the other day we were watching Jody Dunn, and she was deep cleaning, and you could hear her cat meow, and Leo ran right up to the TV, sat down, and started watching it with me, and I just thought that was so super cute. He'll do that sometimes if he hears animal noises. One thing we used to love to do every spring and fall is to kind of move furniture around in our living room and just make it fresh. It's amazing, and I think Clutterbug, just on her podcast that either went up today or yesterday, she was kind of talking about that, how that gives you a little dopamine hit to switch things up. We haven't really done that since we got this sectional, because this is kind of the way it fits, although my husband has been talking about trying it, and also just because where the cable wire comes in and all of the things, it's a lot harder now to move furniture around. That is why I used to like to switch up decor, just putting a different cover on a pillow, putting a different wall hanging on the wall. I did change out my wall hanging, and I don't have my floral print up, but I'm considering putting that up again. But a new furniture layout can really freshen up the space. Also, I want to say, whenever you're spring cleaning and you're using cleaners, depending on what you're using, it's a good idea to crack, even if it's really cold out, crack a window. Make sure you're getting good ventilation so you don't give yourself a headache. Sometimes I can spray my foaming spray and it gets in my throat. It's just good if you can have things that are well ventilated if you're not using all natural cleaners. But for me, even if I'm using an all natural cleaner, like for example, lemon scents tend to really get to me and can give me a headache. So I have to be really careful with what I use. I would love to know your top tips for getting a room all spring cleaned. They always say, start at the top, work your way down. I would say if you really, especially if you have young children or if you take care of your grandchildren a lot, you can have more toys and such around. I think declutter a room first, Get rid of any unnecessary items. So if you were to do this in days, day one would be declutter and organize. Get any trash out. I'm not talking about under couch cushions or anything like that. Get any unnecessary items out. You saw me declutter a couple of blankets. Declutter, get out whatever you don't need. Warn the family, please do not put anything in this room this week because I am trying to spring clean and I'm getting any unnecessary items out because you want it to be easy to wipe down. And then mayhaps day two, you're going to start at the ceiling and start by dusting ceiling fans if you have them, highlights, the wall, cobwebs where the wall meets the ceiling, and work on that. Then, test out. If you're going to wash walls, please test out what you use. I have found that ZEP, Z-E-P, is really good for washing walls. I remember one time I washed my walls with a white erase sponge. Oh my, we'll never do that again. And I remember thinking, I don't wash walls because it makes the paint seem uneven. But really, it was because the white erase was taking paint off. It strips, it's almost like a fine sandpaper. So be really careful. When I use the ZEP, it's a foaming spray, I found it didn't leave the wall all uneven. So working from the top down, that way, you don't want to dust your end tables and then you have dust falling from what you're dusting up top and you're having to wipe it down again. So just taking it little by little, and then the next day you would do lower things.
That's what it is. Actually see.
That's fine. Here we are, we're hanging up the towels. I'm all done in the living room. That is all I got to. I do have the area where I had the treadmill and the bookcase left to do, and that's going to have to happen another day because I fizzled out. I had gotten some great advice from you all about where to hang these towel hangers because one of you had mentioned it looked kind of cluttered to have the towel hanger where he is hanging it right now. But the reason I put them on either end of the doubles or the two sinks is I'm treating the two sinks as kind of like one. To have a towel hanger on the far right and then one between the two sinks just didn't look symmetrical and it really bothered my eye. I have that bird picture that you can see, and then underneath you can see two screws because I have a wicker shelf that goes there. And then I had a wicker basket on the back of the toilet. I have removed that wicker basket from the top of the toilet. That did help things to look more streamlined and less cluttered. And I am enjoying having the towel hangers on either side of both sinks. So in the end, I tried to do that, but I did take the advice of this is looking cluttered, and I moved that basket on the back of the toilet, and I do feel like that did really help. And we also had to kind of go back and get anchors, better anchors for the shelf because the shelf kept kind of tipping down. So that bathroom is coming together, and it's coming together enough that I can see the vision now. I can see that my vision is coming together. I couldn't be more thrilled because I was a little unconfident about it. Someday I will do a room altogether, top to bottom, but I feel like I was able to keep my style throughout. Usually when we decorate rooms, we're doing it kind of piecemeal. It's just a financial thing, right? It's really hard to go out to a store and get every single thing you're going to use like they do on HGTV where they put out a board that has all the colors and the samples. I suppose you could do that, but then there's always the heartbreak of if the store no longer carries what it is you were planning to use if you can't buy it all at once. We did that. We made that mistake with decking once. We bought what we could afford for decking. By the time we could afford it again, the color had been discontinued. It was so heartbreaking. So those things happen, but having an overall style, and I love to make a Pinterest board and just collect ideas. I really wanted this to be coastal. Even though I live across the street from a lake, I thought, okay, we can kind of match up lake life and the fact that I grew up on the coast. So I really love coastal decor. And when I can't find anything, I kind of go the boho route because boho has all those natural materials as well. And then I'm kind of playing with gray, and I like the blue side of gray. I feel like it reflects light better. So I'm kind of playing with gray and beige in that room. And then I'd like to have, and I have white, and I feel like it has a very relaxing feel to it. And one of my daughters said, when I feel sick and I'm in the bathroom, it's so much more relaxing now. And I felt like that was the best compliment I could get. Before, my approach to the ocean feel was a more tropical with the aqua colors and such. And I liked it for its time, but it wasn't as relaxing as doing the whole spa look. I'm telling you, looking at this video, I am so driven crazy by my basement right now. Expect to see. I have so much I need to do, so much on my list, but that's kind of who I am as a personality, of always kind of planning things and always kind of having a big, long to-do list. But I have got to stop my to-do list and get down to this basement. I know you all will be happy if I do that, and I know I'm going to be a lot happier too. So the first coat dried while he put the towel hangers on, and now he's just getting his second coat done. In my next video, you're going to see some more cleaning motivation and also the gifts that Yvonne has received. And I think we'll see how long the haul takes, but she wants to do a haul that she got from her baby shower. She had her baby shower yesterday, and it was absolutely wonderful. And of course, she wants to show all of you what she got. And I need to get down to the basement, like I said, but then I really need to get her, help her get her bedroom all set up for baby. Now that we have so much of what she needs, it's just completely amazing. Thank all of you for all of your generosity. And then the church was just wonderful. Somebody said on here, I wish I could get her a gift, but I can't. I don't want anyone to feel like they should send her a gift, because it is way above and beyond. The sweet thoughts and mostly prayer is what she needs the most. And both of us appreciate the generosity of so many. And that's why when we all come together and we do what we can do for each other, it all works out. God uses it in such a strong way to provide, because you have those who are gifted as givers. You have those who are gifted as prayer warriors. You have those who are gifted in encouragement. And when all of us come together and use our gifts, it gives that person just the full rounded picture of exactly what they need. So when you're an encourager, you are just as important as a giver. So I love you all. Remember, as always, that God loves you too, and I can't wait to see you next time.